There we go. All right, I'm going to do my announcement again. We are recording this live here in this building. A lot of times we normally do it off-site, but we now have some folks that are getting this done in the back. So we will have this recorded that you can watch it online. I'm Mary Jane Berry. This is the Georgetown Area Parkinson Support Group, and I am so glad you guys are here. And we are going to get started. First and foremost, did everybody get a ticket for a door prize? The door prizes, we've got it in the back. So if you did not get a ticket, be sure you go on and get a ticket. And if you finish the survey, and the survey is important, if you have a few minutes, we've got pins back there to do. So if you finish the survey on the back of it, and if you check it all, get to see all of our vendors, then you will get an extra ticket for door prizes. So just to make it all fun. I know, woo. But anyway, and if my husband promised you a new car, he's been watching Price is Right too much. We do not have any. Oh, a Lamborghini. I know he promises the world, but no, we don't have anything cool like that. But definitely get your tickets. All righty, moving right along. We got a full agenda. It's going to be wonderful. As you can see up here, I'm doing the announcements now, but we have representatives from the Michael J. Fox Foundation, and one came all the way from New Jersey, and another one came from Dallas. And we actually met and talked with them, and oh my gosh, they're wonderful, and they've got a lot to share. So I think you're going to enjoy this meeting. And then for some of you guys that go to 413, will you have your favorite coach here today? Carrie will be here. Oh, there she is. All right. And she will be leading us in some exercises. And if you don't know about 413, this is an opportunity to learn all about that. All right, so moving right along, just to let you know, the facilities now, and I meet in several facilities for chair yoga, for singing, as well as this meeting, as well as our educational luncheons. They have now all want funding themselves. Used to get them free, but now I need to repay them. So I needed to get some sponsors. And as you see, the folks on the sides here are sponsors, and it is their help that they're helping us to fund a lot of these programs and a lot of stuff that we do. So I'd like to give a round of applause to our sponsors. And just to let you know who they are, I'm just going to go through, and they can wave their hands so you can see which table they have. Medtronic is here. This is David Ott and Candace, and they are over there. So feel free, you go by to visit with them. Then we have Abbott. Abbott is way in the back. I've got Donnie and Damon. And again, they are with Abbott, and both of these are DBS units. The first one, Medtronic, as well as Abbott. We have Accorda here. Accorda is with Embresia, and that is Anthony and Antonio. There he is. There he is. So we've got him here. And if you have questions, or if you use any of these products and you want to actually speak to the rep, this is a perfect time to do that. We also have Visiting Angels. Visiting Angels is a great help for us. We've got Stacy back there. So Stacy, so feel free to go by and visit with her. Supernus is here, and we're very excited. Supernus, we've got Will, and he is right here. They're big supporters, and so we just appreciate them. We have Emil here, and that is going to be with Raitari and Jill. I saw Jill. There she is. There's Jill. And I think, Jill, you have another person with you helping you out. I think it's her boss. No, I don't know. Anyway, we are glad you're here, and Jill does a fabulous job. Thank you. And then we have Avi. Avi is here. Let's see. Aaron, there's Aaron right over here. That's Duopa. So if you've ever heard about Duopa and you want to learn a little bit more, this is a time to come and speak with these reps. Then we also have a gentleman named Stephen. Stephen, you can come on up. Stephen is with Loud and Clear. Stephen also happens to be our GAPS board chair. This is the big guy. This is my boss. My boss, yeah. So he's got a few things and announcements to make.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for our sponsors. Everybody knows Mary Jane is not being entirely accurate when she says I'm her boss. So this is the spark plug, and this is the reason pretty much everybody is here. Loud and Clear is a voice fitness app for people with Parkinson's. But there's a couple other reasons that I'm up here specifically. And that is one of them is next month, May the 10th, which is a Wednesday. I'll be doing a talk with a PMD Alliance. We put a QR code up there. What I'm going to talk about is not only why our voice changes when we have Parkinson's, what we do about it, but most specifically, I'm going to talk about the different options out there. That's the call I get most often on my cell phone is, hey, I live here. Here's what I have access to. Here's what I don't have access to. What can you help me with? And that's exactly what we're going to cover here. So you can either go to the PMD Alliance website, or if you got your phone, you could just pull it out, scan the QR code, and sign up right now. I also wanted to tell you about a swallow study we have going on.
In a newsletter, the QR code and all the information will be in a newsletter. It's already on the website.
There we go. It's okay. You're okay. Okay. We also, there's a swallow study going on at UT Dell in Austin for people with Parkinson's. It's a longitudinal study, which means you'll go in, I think it's every 6 months for 18 months. And it's looking at the way that swallow changes in Parkinson's. That's Corinne Jones who's doing that. She's awesome. And again, QR code up there, or you could email her if you need to, or you can call her if you need to. I would really encourage you to sign up for that. That's
also, where did you find them?
I didn't look.
Patty? Patty girl. Patty is my right arm and left arm. We've got the swallowing handouts.
We have the swallow study handouts. Okay, so we have those. You can grab one. In fact, I tell you what, as I head out, if you just raise your hand, I'll just come and bring one to you. If it's the sort of thing you're interested in, or you might be interested in, we can make that happen. Is that all for me?
Also, she's.
Oh yeah, she sure is. I think it's like 50. There we go. $50 an hour. So it'll cover your gas, probably some. All right. I'm going to hand it back over to Mary Jane. Thank you. Go ahead and raise your hand if you want some information on the swallow study. I'll be right there. Well, keep them up. Keep them up.
Okay. So while he's passing that out, we have some more folks coming up to talk to you. And these guys are, I'm going to move this just a little bit up out of the way. There we go. This is from Texas State University. Look at these great speech therapists to be, I tell you. And they are going to share some stuff with us. All righty. And keep up close.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emma. We're all grad students with the Texas State Speech and Hearing Clinic. We just wanted to talk a little bit about the summer camp that we have going on in late July. We offer both small group and individualized sessions. It's a 2-week program. It's going to be on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 3 days a week for 2 weeks. It's really fun. We aim to work on vocal quality, overall speech intelligibility, as well as cognitive aspects of communication as well. Just those sessions are to kind of improve the voice, as well as it's a great way to socialize. Does anybody have anything they want to add? Okay, and then in the fall and spring, we also offer Speak Out and Loud Crowd sessions. Speak Out, I believe, is how long is it? 10 week? I think it's about a 10 to 12 week program that just aims to improve vocal quality and speech quality. And then Loud Crowd is our group sessions that meet once a week to work on. On Wednesdays at 2 p.m. at the Speech and Hearing Clinic. And we do lots of vocal exercises as well for that group. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, I would like to thank you very, very much for coming. And so if you've never taken advantage of the Speak Loud, I mean, it's wonderful and it's free during the school year, but this one is a cost, but yet it's still wonderful. It's very intensive. A lot of our members have participated in this. So if you're interested in this at all, I will also have this in the newsletter. And so they can sign up, but thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it. Okay, and just a reminder, everyone, we do have a caregivers group as part of GAPS. It's really a great group. We have both men and women that come to this group. We meet in the education building here at this same church, and in spite of sharing a lot, and sometimes there's heavy topics, there's a lot of laughter and fun, and it's really very helpful. We share a lot of tips and tools to even help out. So I'd like to encourage you, caregivers, if you'd like to come, be sure that y'all check this out. And let's see, my mantra, as you guys know, we have a mantra. It's a perfect one for Parkinson's. It's educate, educate, educate. That's part of what these meetings are. Exercise, exercise, exercise. We offer exercise classes free, we being GAPS, but we also have 413 boxing. We have other opportunities for exercise. I share all of this in the website as well as in a newsletter. But socialize. Socialization is so important. We definitely do not want anyone to feel isolated or stay at home. We want you to be sure and come to the meetings, come and do things. And even if you need someone just to talk to, just to make a connection with another man, if a man to man or of a woman that would like to speak to another woman with Parkinson's, send me an email. I connect a lot of people this way so that they can kind of have a buddy program. Okay, moving right along. This is an example of our classes. We have GAPS vocal exercise and music therapy. In fact, Janie is our vocal exercise speech therapist, and she is wonderful. We also have chair yoga. We were off on chair yoga part of April, but we will start back this coming Wednesday, which will be our first Wednesday in May. And so you might think chair yoga, it is really fun. It's really nice. And we've got a wonderful gal teaching that. Then we have ping pong fun. Let me see, Don, if Don is here, would he stand up? And I think we got Chuck and Ron. There's Don over here. Don helps to lead the ping pong. Don, stand up again. They didn't quite see you. And if you have any questions, he's wonderful. They meet at the Georgetown Rec Center. So you might think, oh, I don't know if I could do it. But they manage, and you can talk to Don about it and just check it out. All righty. Now, we're going to be having our Michael J. Fox representatives come up, but they gave me permission to show you the brand new film that Michael J. Fox has just done. It's going to be on Apple TV. It says Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, and talks about that he was diagnosed at age 29, and he goes through it. So I'm going to make sure this works good. I'm going to get Patty and Chris to maybe double check lighting as we show this movie here. Hopefully it works. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Mark Barden here at Sandy Hook Promise. On December 14th, 2000.
The story of me, take two.
Wait a minute, Doc. Bob, are you telling me that you built the time machine out of a DeLorean?
What did it mean to be still?
No, I never still.
That's him. That's our star.
I want this job. I can do it. Whatever the exception is, I can fix it. I can be older. I can be taller. I can be anything.
The popularity of Michael J. Fox is a phenomenon.
Here, Michael J. Fox. What is the secret of your success?
Yes. Hey. I feel 4 feet tall.
I get it. I was big. I was bigger than bubblegum. I woke up and I noticed my pinky, auto-animated, Parkinson's disease. I told Tracy the news. In sickness and in health, I remember her whispering. No one outside of my family knew. There was only one reason I took these pills, to hide. But all those years of hiding was shaking me awake. She denied that part of me that wants to continue to go on and do things is to quit. That. So this is what I am. I'm a tough son of a bitch.
Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. The sad sack story is Michael J. Fox gets this debilitating disease and it crushes him.
Yeah, that's boring.
A good movie, guys. Let's see here. So with that said, let me get out of this. Let me see. I'll come back over here. There we go. And I would like to introduce our speakers. We had the opportunity to meet them both yesterday, and it was just wonderful. You've got Danielle and Danielle Bechta. How do I? Bechta. All righty. And then we have Alejandra. And Danielle is from New Jersey, flew all the way in from New Jersey. Alejandra came from Dallas, but she is glad to be here. So I've got two. Do you want two mics for both of y'all to speak?
I think just one is fine. We'll trade on and off.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and you got to be right up close.
You got it.
And I'll get your card.
Okay, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing today? That's nice and loud. Can we try it one more time? How are we doing today? Oh, there we go. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for humoring me. What an introduction, just to let Michael lead us in here. I mean, just incredible. Before we jump in, I had the opportunity to see the film a couple of weeks ago with a group of folks with Parkinson's, and I think you will find it to be a very honest reflection of where he is right now and his story, and it's beautifully done. So I look forward to hearing what y'all think about it in a couple weeks. But my name is Danielle Bechta. I have been with the Michael J. Fox Foundation since January 2019. And I have covered a lot of the country and Eastern Canada, and I'm so excited to be here in Georgetown. This is my first time here in Georgetown, so thank you for the warm welcome. And it is my pleasure to be here with my colleague, Alejandra Lopez, and I will turn it over to her.
Hi, everyone. Alejandra Lopez here. Excited to be with everybody today. I live in Grapevine, Texas, so right outside of Dallas. And I've been with the foundation since February, so not as long as Danielle, but still happy to be here. I've been in this area before, but just excited to be in Georgetown. Today we have a presentation for you, and whether you've heard from us one time, if this is your first time, or 50, I can guarantee you, Danielle and I will tell you something new. We will have time for questions. So you can ask us questions when we pause or at the end, and no need to take too many notes because we will send you the presentation. So, all righty, let's see here. See if it works. Perfect. All right, so today we're going to talk to you a little bit about our mission and model. Parkinson's research. Danielle's going to give you a really good update, ways to get involved, and then, like I said, questions. So who are we? We are the largest funder. It says private funder, but we've passed everybody else. We are the largest funder of Parkinson's disease research, raising over $2 billion so far. And we've been around since 2000, so 23 years, started by Michael J. Fox, Parkinson's patient, but also actor. I did kind of feel like a movie star after that trailer. I got to come up here. I felt like it was a good introduction. So we really take a different look at Parkinson's disease than many other foundations. We do a bird's eye view, very wide lens. We actually don't have any, we don't have an endowment because our mission is to cure Parkinson's disease, to close our doors, right? So we want to find better treatments. And from the beginning, that's been our mission. We do this through business and science together, a very aggressively funded research agenda. And 88 cents of every dollar, as you can see on the graphic, goes to Parkinson's research. We have no endowment. We start back at zero every year. And within 6 months of a donation, those funds are dispersed. So we really do take the business side of philanthropy seriously. So how do we decide to fund our research? We are patient-centered. That is the essence of who we are.
Okay, well, there you go. Sorry to interrupt. Just see this being flexible. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Flexibility. We will send out the slides, so don't worry. And I am saying all of the information on the slides and more. So just listen to me. Okay, so I was talking about how we are a patient-centered organization. So like I said, we take that bird's eye view in research in the field. So not only do our PhD neuroscientists keep tabs on everything in the landscape, even outside of PD, we obviously are looking at every aspect of PD. And we value science that's going to be open. So we want researchers that will share their knowledge. And then we also want it to be reproducible. So something that we're able to replicate is very important to us. So every year, our PhD neuroscientists review over 1,500 research grant proposals. And they'll look at everything to determine what we believe will have the greatest impact on patients. And once that's determined, we'll fund those grants. So each grant that we fund, like I said, it comes with that promise that the researcher is going to be very transparent. And as the clinical trial progresses, we make sure that they're reporting their progress. So they'll meet certain milestones and then they'll receive their next set of funding. This allows us to be very nimble. It allows us to be able to say, okay, if that research project isn't working out like we thought it was, we can pivot. So we can move on and go to another project that maybe is going to find better results. And we'll do 600, we'll fund 600 of those grants annually. We recognize that we don't exist in a vacuum. So we do seek other perspectives in the field from the PD community, researchers, doctors, and most importantly, people with Parkinson's. So now I'm going to hand it over to Danielle to speak a little bit about research.
All right. Thank you so much, Alejandra. I have quite a few slides. And as Mary Jane mentioned earlier, I am from New Jersey. And when I get excited, I start to speak very quickly. And that can be dangerous when it comes to scientific terms. So if you need me to slow down, please somebody raise a hand. But it sounds like you can all hear me okay. I see everybody up here. All right, great. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, so I know you're having a hard time seeing the colors on this slide, but what I really want to just start with here is a baseline on Parkinson's. And I know everyone in this room is an expert on their own Parkinson's, and I love that. And I think that's something that we're going to hit on a lot during this presentation about how unique everyone is and how we can strive for better treatments to really help each person individually. And on this slide up here, you have a lot of Parkinson's symptoms, many of which aren't necessarily talked about. So Parkinson's is considered a movement disorder. And so a lot of times when folks are diagnosed, they go to the doctor because they're experiencing a tremor in a part of their body or slowness, stiffness, stuff that's really stopping them from being able to move the way that they would like to. But on this slide here, you see things like memory changes, smell loss, sleep problems, anxiety, urinary problems, and constipation. We always love talking about that one. So yeah, I know some things that you don't think about that you could have for years or decades before you're diagnosed with Parkinson's. So one of the favorite sayings at the Fox Foundation, and you may have heard it, is if you've met one person with Parkinson's, you have met one person with Parkinson's. So we're aware that there are a lot of different symptoms that go into Parkinson's itself, and we are here for it. So we can move on to the next one. Okay, I guarantee you cannot read this slide because guess what? I can't read this slide on my computer screen when it's blown up. But what this slide is it's showing the available therapies for Parkinson's. And on that lower line there, that lower axis, that's from about the mid 1950s all the way up till today. And as you can see in that big orange bubble, 22 of those treatments have been approved since 2010. So you can see there's kind of a long lag up, and then it's just shooting up at 2010. You can see those bars getting smaller and smaller as it gets closer to today. So this is really exciting. This Parkinson's pipeline shows that there are therapies such as different formulations of levodopa, carbidopa. We all know Cinemet is the gold standard. That's one of the first couple lines on the bottom there. So that's been around for quite a while and it's still a great option. But we have some folks in the room. I see Rytari back there. So there's a different formulation of levodopa, carbidopa. We have it somewhere on the list there. And again, we'll send these slides out. But we have different devices such as deep brain stimulation devices. We have Abbott in the room and we have, oh gosh, I'm sorry, I don't see the sign of Medtronic on the other side over there. So you're going to ask all the hard questions about those to those folks today. How about that? Does that sound like a good plan? Great, wonderful. And then there's also some reformulations listed on here. So something like Botox is now used as a therapy to treat Parkinson's. So there's never a good time and no one wants the diagnosis of Parkinson's, but right now is a great time to have Parkinson's because you can see there's so many. Yeah, I know. Good. I got you to laugh on that one. Good. Because you know what? There are so many different therapies today and we can be more nuanced. And I promise you this pipeline is not slowing down. And part of that is due to that bird's eye view that Alejandra was talking about. So even though we can't fund everything that comes through our door, we know what's going on and we know how we think we'll be able to help the community moving forward. All right, we can move to the next slide. Perfect. Okay. So we always strive to achieve three things that you'll see on the slide here: better treatments, better trials, and better policies for people with Parkinson's. And in 23 years, we've seen a few things change. One thing is the treatment cycle has gotten shorter. So with clinical trials, clinical trials could last decades for safety and efficacy, but we have sped that pipeline up about half of what it was. So we're seeing clinical trials start and stop between 12 and 15 years instead of 30 years. So that's something right there. We are looking to be able to do things like subtype different types of Parkinson's. So understanding if you have a specific type of Parkinson's due to maybe an environmental risk factor or a genetic agent that maybe raised your risk enough to be diagnosed, we want to be able to treat you exactly how your Parkinson's is. And we have a strategic plan that will really focus on that over the next 3 to 5 years with our research. Additionally, we want to start making sure that we have the right patients in clinical trials. So if you can subtype, you can also see who's supposed to be in clinical trials, where these clinical trials could be most effective. And this is going to save time and money, and this will be very important. We're actually designing the first ever prevention trials for Parkinson's right now. And I see some faces in the room because if we would have said this 10 years ago, people would have laughed at us. But because of all the data that has been collected in a program that I'm going to talk a lot about soon, the Parkinson's Progression Markers Initiative, we have been able to get to the point where there are some clear indicators that we can start to design prevention trials. And then finally, better policies. We do have a public policy arm. And I know there's a couple of folks in the room today. Where's my Julie? She's over there, who've participated in some policy events with us. And Alejandra, towards the end of the conversation, is going to talk about the National Plan to End Parkinson's. And that is one of our major initiatives that we have right there. So simply put, there is a lot going on. We're really at a pivotal point. Things are speeding up and going in really clear directions. I have a great announcement that I'll get to in a couple of slides, but I'll make you leave yourself on the edge of the seats for now. But so what can we do today, right? We're going to take care of ourselves, sleep better, exercise more, eat well, eat balanced. I need to practice what I preach myself on those. So if I'm telling you, I need to start doing it, especially the exercise part. That's the hard part for me. If optional, if something this would help you, talk to your doctor about taking Parkinson's medications. There's a lot of options like you saw on the last slide there. Also, we have opportunities to take additional medication that might help if your current medication is wearing off and your symptoms are coming back. That's called off times. How many people have heard about off times before? Okay, yeah, we got some pros in here. So we have a couple of off-time medications here as well. So we have Ambrosia back there. We have there's Apokyn on that table over there. Actually, the Fox Foundation invested early in Ambrosia, so I like to talk about that one because that's a cool success story that we have. Great. Oh my gosh, we are moving right along. Another one of those off-time therapies is called Kimobi. So they're not here today, but if anyone has questions about that, I can answer a couple of questions there. But there's a lot going on. And if you have additional symptoms, I guarantee we have at least one therapy that you can seek in order to live your best life with Parkinson's. And that's most important right now. So this next slide up here, I'll get to that in a minute, but I have a couple other things that I want to say. So this is mostly the part where I want to talk more about what we fund so you can kind of understand. And we really like to be responsive to what we see is happening in the community. And as Alejandra said before, our funding is milestone driven. So if we see a clinical trial not moving in the right direction and it doesn't seem like it's going to be a viable option, we stop funding there and we pivot the remaining funding to another clinical trial, something that's a bit more promising. So we have three kind of main areas that we like to focus on. The first one being addressing field-wide challenges. So a lot of those challenges deal with access to people participating in research. Most clinical trials, I think the last number I heard was about 80% are stalled or fail at some point because they don't have enough volunteers to participate in clinical trials. So that's why you'll hear us talk a lot about why it's important to participate in clinical trials. And there's a lot of different ways you can participate. So don't feel like you have to go in and do the hard stuff all the time. You can answer a couple of surveys, and that could be something that is really beneficial for the community. A lot of the programs, especially the Parkinson's Progression Markers Initiative, collects data, and that data is de-identified and then can be downloaded by researchers and shared throughout the world. So that way folks aren't starting from zero. They can start with an incredible, I think it's like 60 terabytes of data or something. Like I can't even comprehend how much that really is, but folks can just build a really strong hypothesis based on that information instead of having to start from scratch. So we really try to be the person in the room that is sharing. I like to say we're not the smart kid in class covering our paper. We like to open that up for everyone so that way they can see the answers and we're not holding anything back and we're continuing to move forward. The next area is symptomatic treatments. So that was like a couple slides ago where you saw the person and all the words around them. So anything that can really help you live your best life with Parkinson's right now, because what we need to do is we don't have that cure yet, but we're working on it. But there's a lot of people that we can help right now with these symptomatic therapies. So we recognize that that's something that the community needs, and we want to make sure that we are filling that void there. And then this slide deals with our disease modifying treatments. And disease modifying, it could be something like slowing, stopping, or reversing the progress of Parkinson's. And really, this is where we think the cure might be. I'll share a little secret. I don't think there's just going to be one cure for Parkinson's. I think there's a widely held theory that there's a lot of things happening in our bodies to develop a Parkinson's diagnosis. So depending on which type of Parkinson's you have, your cure might look different than mine. So that is something that we're aware of, but we think that we can address that in this portfolio here. So this top one over here, alpha-synuclein, is a great one. And have we heard about alpha-synuclein before? Yeah, I see a lot of head nods. It's a good 15-letter word. It's hyphenated. I can spell it on a good day, but this is a big part of our research here. But I'm going to take a step back and just describe a little bit more about our theory about disease-modifying treatments and something that really helped me learn about this. And internally, we call it the fishbowl. And what I want you to do is imagine that your brain is a fishbowl. So what are you going to do when you're putting it together? You're going to get a nice container. You're going to go get some colorful rocks, some stones, You're going to maybe get a little castle or treasure chest that blows some bubbles, and then you're going to put some fish in it. So those fish for this exercise will be goldfish. All right, so we've got our fish bowl all built. We have our goldfish in here, and everything is great. But after a couple weeks, you may wake up and see that a couple of your goldfish have gone belly up in the night. So what are you going to do? Especially if you have kiddos at home, grandkids, nieces and nephews stopping by, you're going to scoop those fish out. You're going to send them off on a nice little burial there, and you're going to run to the pet store and buy some more goldfish and put them into the fish bowl. Are you still with me? Okay, good. Well, that's kind of what we're doing when we're treating Parkinson's right now, right? So we're taking things like levodopa, carbidopa to replace the dopamine cells that have stopped working in our brains. And that's kind of like putting new goldfish into our fish bowl. So that is great. That is helpful. That is not fixing the problem. So what we need to do is figure out why our goldfish are getting sick in the first place. Is there something in the water? Are they reacting to something in the rocks or the seaweed that we put in there? So we need to clean the environment. We need to clean the fish bowl and figure out what's going on. And that is what is in these disease modifying treatments. So we want to understand really at the base level what the underlying biology is. And alpha-synuclein is one of those areas that we are really committed to investigating. Alpha-synuclein is a protein that we all have in our bodies. So not like steak or chicken. It's part of our biological. Thank you for whoever laughed back there. I appreciate it. And it's everywhere. It's in our skin. It's in our blood. It's, you know, and I'll be honest with you, we don't really 100% know what it does in the body. But for some reason, in most people with Parkinson's, we see alpha-synuclein in back here in the substantia nigra region where our dopamine lives, and it isn't functioning the way it's supposed to. It's starting to clump together and form a toxic environment. So it's making our fishbowl dirty back there. And this is one thing that we're trying to target. So right now there are 14 therapies in clinical trials trying to work on alpha-synuclein. There's a vaccine approach that is in phase 2B right now, which is very interesting. The company that is doing that one is called AC Immune. They acquired it from another company. And, you know, we understand vaccines, right? We get flu vaccines. Some of you may have gotten the COVID vaccine. There's a lot of things that we understand about vaccines. So to teach our body how to behave properly, in this case, alpha-synuclein, to stop from that buildup, that toxic buildup that is happening. And alpha-synuclein is going to come into play quite a lot. This could almost be a drinking game for us over the next couple of slides, or a bingo game or something, but that is one of the big areas in disease modifying. So the next one is genetics. I don't know if many of you have decided to jump in to get genetic testing and find out if your Parkinson's could be connected to that. But there could be up to 200 different markers that could raise your risk of developing Parkinson's. I've talked to a lot of researchers. We don't have time to go through all 200 of those today. I promise I will not do that to you. But we study 2 to 5 of the main ones, depending on what research is happening right now. And the 2 that I'll talk about today are GBA and LRRK2, LRRK2. So GBA is, and you know what, I'll preface this. When it comes to having a genetic mutation that's linked to Parkinson's, it is not 100% that you will go on to develop Parkinson's because you have this genetic link. What they call it, scale of penetrance. So some have a higher penetrance level and some have a lower one. In fact, about 20 years ago, scientists actually think that there was a genetic link to Parkinson's until they found one. In one family in Italy, it had 100% penetrance. Very, very rare. We've never seen it anywhere else. So I said, okay, there could be something here. And then we started looking. So with GBA, folks that have that mutation could be diagnosed earlier in life. And as the disease progresses, you may see that there are some more significant cognitive changes. So there are 5, I think. I think we have 5 treatments measuring GBA currently in clinical trials. And they're trying to figure out mostly the underlying biology. And one thing that's really cool about genetics is that even if you do not have the genetic mutation, we think research on those mutations will help everyone with Parkinson's, because we'll understand what else is happening in the bodies, things to look for, different triggers to explore. And with LRRK2 is very interesting because it is what they call a kinase. And kinases are heavily studied in cancer research. So not only can we use Parkinson's researchers, we can use cancer researchers to help solve this puzzle and look into this. Now, LRRK2, unlike GBA, if you have that mutation, you typically don't present any different than someone with idiopathic Parkinson's or without a known cause. So I just think it's so interesting that each one of these has a different personality. Again, looking at more personalized medicine, more precision medicine approach. And then we have another section down here, really talks more about underlying biology and cellular process. There is a program called Aligning Sciences Across Parkinson's, or ASAP for short. And they have a very similar mission to us in that they want to cure Parkinson's, and they're going to do it in a very targeted way, but really focus on underlying biology. So with them, we work hand in hand, and we help them select their clinical trials that they want to work with, but they focus on all the underlying basic biology. So that way we can focus on some other things. And we love working with them. They're incredible. And I think you're going to see some really interesting findings come out of their work over the next few years. Okay, I think we can move to the next one. Whew, you're all doing good. All right, good. I got some giggles. We're still alive out there. Okay, so you've heard me mention this name twice already, the Parkinson's Progressions Markers Initiative, or PPMI for short. I'm just going to abbreviate it from now on. This is our natural history study. It started in 2010, and it started with 1,500 volunteers at 33 sites across the United States, and actually there were international sites as well as we started. And people were monitored in clinic for about 5 years, and they were taking samples of their blood, their skin, cerebral spinal fluid, doing tests very similar to a movement disorder specialist appointment that you might have. So the walking, measuring that kind of data, tapping, pulling, all the very familiar things that you have all done in your appointments there. And this data was collected over about 5 years. And they actually measured some people for longer than 5 years. They just kind of kept going with it. Some of the sites had some additional funding, and they were able to do that. So there were people involved who didn't have Parkinson's and people involved that did have Parkinson's. Early on, it was really focused at someone who could be in their early stages of Parkinson's, but then they opened it up to more cohorts. And in 2022, last year, we relaunched the study to include additional sites. So now we have 55 sites worldwide, and we're trying to recruit up to 4,000 people to participate in clinic. There is a location in Houston at Baylor College of Medicine for PPMI here in Texas. I know it's not super close, but there is one here. I actually met somebody a little bit earlier today that might be starting PPMI at one of our locations in Colorado. So it was very, very exciting. Is anyone else participating in PPMI? Oh, I see a hand back there. All right, good. I see a couple of hands. Great. And there's an online survey component to it as well now. So we're trying to get 100,000 people to participate in the online community. So if getting poked and prodded and things like that aren't your thing, which is totally fine, and you'd be willing to participate in a few surveys, we would greatly appreciate that. And I think Alejandra is going to circle back on that a little bit later. So really what we're trying to do in PPMI is understand if there is a biomarker for Parkinson's. So a biomarker is a test that can be taken. So for example, an X-ray is an imaging biomarker if you have a broken bone, or you might look at blood pressure levels, or a pregnancy test includes things that are biomarkers for someone if they're pregnant or not. So there's a lot of different biomarkers out there, but until very recently, there wasn't one for Parkinson's. And that made research really hard. It was kind of like doing research with the lights out, right? You're having very subjective measures. You're not seeing in real time if therapies are working in clinic, and you're just kind of going based on the data that you're able to observe. So PPMI is really something that has helped us get to a point in our search for a biomarker. And I have said all this. Gosh, I'm doing pretty good, guys. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Actually, we can go to the next slide. Thank you, Alejandra. Perfect. Okay. So guess what? We're here. Just about 2 weeks ago, a big announcement was made that a biomarker test has been found for Parkinson's. I see a couple of head nods. Thank you. Has anybody read the articles about this or kind of heard about this? It's brand new. So yeah, I see a couple hands. Good. And we'll send some materials, some webinars and podcasts and articles about this, because I won't be able to go into all of it today, but I'll give you a high level. And our scientists, who are typically very reserved, are the ones dancing on the tables right now, because it is something that we have been working for since day one to be able to get to this point. Our co-founder and CEO, Debbie Brooks, actually went to fly out to see Michael last month to tell him this news. And he wept. I'll tell you that. He wept. He was so excited. He's like, we're making a difference. It's happening. So what is this? What is this test? What does it measure? So it's called a seed amplification assay. Yeah, I didn't know what that was either until a couple weeks ago. So actually, this technology is used right here at the University of Texas. And in 2014, one of the researchers there was using this for another disease. And one of our researchers got wind of it and gave him a call and said, "You think you can do this for Parkinson's?" And he said, "Yeah, I just need some money." And we're like, "Okay, we can figure that out." So we funded his work, and he also used samples of cerebral spinal fluid from PPMI for this test. And so they have these things called seeds, and these seeds are artificial versions of alpha-synuclein, what I was talking about before, that protein that clumps together. And so basically they take samples of someone without Parkinson's and someone with Parkinson's, and they introduce these seeds into those samples, and they shake them up for 24 hours in a lab. And what they found is that after 24 hours, someone with Parkinson's had those clumping alpha-synuclein happening, and someone without Parkinson's, there was nothing going on in there. So we said, wow, this is something. And this test right now, 90% accurate. It is something that is really exciting and unheard of, and something that we see right now is a really great tool for clinical trials. You can be able to tell if you have the right people in clinical trials. I will caution that not everybody with Parkinson's has the alpha-synuclein clumping pathology. Folks that have that LRRK2 mutation, there's actually 2 different types of LRRK2 that we found. One that does have it, and the other that doesn't have alpha-synuclein clumping. So we got to go back to the drawing board a little bit and try and figure out what's happening with those folks in LRRK2 that we can measure their Parkinson's with. So a lot is really happening here. And this test is also predictive. So for example, someone who was in PPMI originally didn't have Parkinson's, later on to get diagnosed with Parkinson's, but the samples that we had on file, they didn't have Parkinson's at the time. It showed that they were going to get Parkinson's. So that has major implications on being able to be diagnosed years before you actually do. I mean, I'm sure if I talk to just about every one of you in this room, you have a different story about how it wasn't clear cut or easy to get diagnosed with Parkinson's. You had to go to several specialists, do a lot of tests, and then there's always still a little bit of ambiguity in all of that. But this test made it very clear. So right now, we're not really able to do anything more other than say yes or no. The alpha-synuclein pathology is present. And we're not able to measure the severity of how much alpha-synuclein clumps are in the brain or in the body. So that's what we're working on. Over the next few years, we're going to dive back in. We're going to hopefully be able to measure severity. And we're also going to, actually, we can already tell somebody with Parkinson's from somebody with multiple system atrophy or progressive supranuclear palsy. So it's great. You know, we'll be able to weed some things out in that process. And also, right now, the test uses cerebral spinal fluid. So what we want to do is try to create a seeding assay test that would work with blood samples or maybe with a nasal swab or skin sample, something that's easier for folks. Yeah, right. You know, a little skin sample, that's not so bad. Yeah, exactly. So we recognize that there are areas that need to be worked on in this space, but gosh, we're here. This is a new era for Parkinson's disease research. And I like to think of it like the train is on the tracks. We can really move confidently in this specific direction without, you know, missing the other directions that we were working on, because those are still very important for us to work on, but this is really going to be a priority for us. And yeah, we can go to the next slide there. I promise you, I'm almost done. Okay. Actually, we can go to the next one. I hit all that stuff. Okay, so just to wrap up a couple of other things from PPMI. An interesting thing I actually got to hear from Dr. Tropia a couple of weeks ago. He works with the University of Pennsylvania, and he used PPMI data to create this artificial intelligence around impulse control disorder. And impulse control disorder can happen as a side effect of some Parkinson's medications. So basically what his research used PPMI data for was to be able to predict if somebody was more likely to be able to get impulse control disorder from certain medications. So this is another thing that we can use, another tool that can be used for doctors and their patients, so you can all make better decisions about which medications to take. So to understand what those risks are, and then you get to make those decisions together, which is great. And the next two on this slide here actually deal with kind of the seeding assay work that I just talked about. So the first one is people with LRRK2 and normal sense of smell were less likely to have alpha-synuclein clumping on that test. So that's something interesting to look out for. And then also in the pre-diagnosis space, somebody with REM behavior sleep disorder, a condition where you act out your dreams, or you have smell loss, they were at a greater risk for having the alpha-synuclein aggregation. So I know I just shared a lot of information, and I'm sure you have plenty of questions, but I'm going to take a sip of water and hand it back over to Alejandra to wrap us up.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Danielle. I know that she is an expert at all of this, so I'm so grateful that she presented all of that. I want to talk to you guys about how to get involved. The Parkinson's community is incredible and asks us all of the time, what can I do? And there's something for everybody. Really, it could be through research involvement, through connections like today, or financially supporting research as well. So first, we're going to start with the Buddy Network. Is anybody a part of our Buddy Network online? Yay. Okay, good. So it's kind of like a social media platform for people with Parkinson's or caregivers. And it really encourages that social aspect. We established this coming out of the pandemic because we saw that that isolation was really detrimental to everybody, but especially for this community. And so you're able to sign up online. We can give you all of the links and really just get tips. You'll be able to share your experience, and you can do everything anonymously also. So if there's something you want to ask that maybe, you know, you wouldn't want to ask anybody else, you can go on there and ask it, and nobody will know who you are. So We also have wonderful webinars and podcasts on our website. So if you are interested, every third Thursday, we have a webinar starting at 11 a.m. Central, 12 Eastern. But I'm a Central Time girl, so I always say Central. And we talk about all different topics. The last one was about this big biomarker. And you can watch it live, or you can have it sent to your email, the recordings. So we also have podcasts. I don't know if many of you are big podcast listeners, but I love to when I'm driving. So we'll have those. You can listen to them on our website or on your favorite app on your phone. Ask the MD is a blog and video from our senior communications. Wait, let me get her title right. Senior VP of Medical Communications, Dr. Rachel Dolan, who is a movement disorder specialist as well. She really does help with blogs for you and your loved ones to live your best life with Parkinson's. And her most recent blog post was about Ask the MD, what does the new Parkinson's test mean for me today? So I think that's a really big one. We'll send you that link. Danielle hit on PPMI, but we just want to encourage you once again to either in person or virtually sign up and become involved. Anybody over the age of 18 can sign up to be in our PPMI trials. Fox Insight is another study that collects data, self-reported data, to learn more about living life with Parkinson's. So we want to build the largest and have built the largest and most diverse cohort of people with Parkinson's, as well as a control group of volunteers as well. We have over 55 sites worldwide. And that's for PMI. We have over 55 sites worldwide. But this study just wants diverse participants because we know that Parkinson's is different for everybody, right? And it's more lifestyle questions, things that maybe, aren't always able to be measured, but you can, like how long it took you to be diagnosed. That might be a question on there. So those are it's really good information for us as well. And then Team Fox. Team Fox is a grassroots fundraising team. It's peer-to-peer within your community. And you could host any kind of event. So I saw ping pong. I think that would be a really cool fundraiser. Boxing could be cool, everything, right? We have people that do breweries, maybe a 5K and you end with a beer. I don't know. We've had a lot of different events, golf tournaments, of course, Top Golf. I know there's one not too far from here. And those really are fundraisers where 100% of the proceeds go to the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So they have raised over $100 million since 2006. And that is people like everybody in this room that has helped with that. So that's amazing. We also just have other local events that we can send you. So look out for those. If you don't feel like hosting is your thing, then you can definitely just attend an event. So our national plan to end Parkinson's disease is the most comprehensive legislation that's been introduced. And it seeks to unite not only the government, but also private entities to be able to support people with Parkinson's and hopefully cure Parkinson's disease. And this was reintroduced earlier this year. And it's really been amazing. It's right now we are asking legislators to co-sign. So if any of you are interested in emailing or sending mail to any of your legislators, we have different formats and just kind of form-filled letters that we can send to you. It only takes 90 seconds. But right now, the federal government invests only about $250 million when we know every year it costs $52 billion to care for people with Parkinson's. And so we want to be able to align our government towards a cure and make sure that we aren't having that economic burden right on caregivers and people with Parkinson's. So it's a big plan, and we really hope that it will pass this year. But we'll send you all of these resources. We'll send you all of our slides. We are towards the end of our presentation, which I know is sad.
All right. So one thing I wanted to make sure we added in here is a quote from Michael. And he actually joined one of our staff meetings recently. And he said, "We never want to lose impatience for our patients." So this is just something that we want to be able to instill in you, that we are here, we are working on this, and we are absolutely here until Parkinson's isn't. So thank you so much for everybody who has participated in some way in this community. Keep coming back to amazing groups like this, because groups like this make a difference in your Parkinson's experience. So we're going to have time for questions now. And we actually are going to have a microphone going around just so everybody can hear your question. But thank you to Mary Jane Berry and the board here at GAPS. This is such an incredible opportunity for us to be here. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for being here for us today.
And this was really good, and to learn about this, for some of you that may or may not know, because I know we have a lot of new folks, on our website, we have a research page, and every one of these different opportunities we have already on the website, but I will include it in the next newsletter. And by the way, this is another one of Michael's statements, incurably optimistic, which is why I wore this today. He actually, one of his first books was Incurably Optimistic. And I think that's great. Initially, he also said that he wanted to find a cure in his lifetime. He realizes now that it'll still be a quest, but it's really, really good. And I hope you guys will watch the movie when it does come out on Apple TV. But right now, do we have any questions? We have a few minutes for sure for questions. So if you raise your hand, I'll come to you. Yes, be sure you talk right here on the mic. Okay, all righty.
Do you girls know when the proposed date for the movie is?
Sure, that's May 12th. So just a couple weeks from now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only on Apple TV.
Apple TV Plus, yes. So if y'all wanted to get together and do like a screening or something like that, I think, if you have a space like this, or I think you can do it pretty much anything that's not a regular movie theater, from what I understand. So we don't necessarily have anything to do with it, but happy to share information as it comes out with you all. Mm-hmm.
I don't hear as quickly as you speak. Could you say the name of the protein, the alpha?
Alpha-synuclein.
Say again.
Alpha-synuclein amplification. So seed amplification assay is the name of the test. It does. It does. Yes. I don't know if everybody heard that, but that was a perfect way of describing it. So the test will take a sample, and it, as I said, it was shaken up, and it'll turn something really small, and you'll be able to see a lot of the alpha-synuclein clumping. It's also called Lewy bodies. I didn't mention that earlier, happening in that sample. Yes, you got it. Oh my gosh, I did a pretty good job explaining that. You got it. Oh, thank you. I think that one mic went out. Oh, there you go.
All right. Okay. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Okay. We've got a question over here. And then I don't want anybody leaving, because we have got some really fun door prizes and all sorts of cool stuff.
I hope this question is from Tsunami over there. I hope Tsunami was listening. It's so cute. It's so cute.
Oh, so this alpha-synuclein, did you say that you don't know what the normal use of alpha-synuclein is?
Yeah, in general, in the body, we're not 100% sure what alpha-synuclein does. We know that we have it, but we see that in most cases of Parkinson's, it starts to go haywire, and it doesn't work the way that it's supposed to, continuing to recycle in the body normally, and it forms those Lewy bodies. And a lot of times we see those where the dopamine lives. Now, previously, we were only able to see that post-mortem, right? So that really doesn't do us any good for people living with Parkinson's now. So we're trying to find ways to see it in the body sooner. So this test is one of those. We're also working on on alpha-synuclein imaging tracers as well, which I didn't have time to get into today. But yes. Yeah, so the question is, can you measure an increase in alpha-synuclein and a decrease in dopamine, right? So that's what we're trying to do right now. So that is exactly where a lot of the research is, and that's what we hope to do to understand what that relationship is. So we know that when you're diagnosed with Parkinson's, you're already at about a 60 to 70% deficit of usable dopamine in your brain. So how can we fix that at that point, and how can we cut it off earlier? So that is a big part of our focus right now. But right now, I can't say 100% yes.
Oh,
That is
but we need it
wonderful.
for the Zoom. All right. All righty, Jane.
The Parkinson's manifests itself in so many different ways. You mentioned a vaccine. Would the vaccine cure all or just some of the symptoms?
So I think it would focus mainly on how we can stop that misfolding alpha-synuclein. So a lot of those are causing the movement symptoms, creating that toxic environment for the dopamine. So that would be the main objective of that specific vaccine. But I think that technology could be used in a variety of different ways based on different biomarkers that we find. Oh, thank you so much. It's our pleasure. Uh-oh. Got a hard question coming. There you go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So thank you again for being here today. I think what your foundation has done for this community, for this group of people, it's enormous. So again, thank you. Now, with that being said, the presence that you have as a foundation, I mean, everyone can feel it worldwide. Yeah. You have many teaching institutions, many clinical groups.
That is a great question. So, the question was, we see research happening, similar research in different parts of the world. And what are we doing to make sure everybody's kind of on the same page so we can continue to speed research, right? Did I grab that? Okay, perfect. So we consider ourselves a central convener. And when we fund research, we make our grantees report back to us every 6 months, and they have to report to their peers. So other people working on the same research, sharing everything that is going on in order for everybody to understand. So if someone's having trouble with a clinical trial that they're working on, they're sharing that information. So we want the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to that. Now, it's a little more difficult for us to do that when we're not specifically funding all of the research, but we have found that because we've been doing this for so long, people want a seat at the table. So we have different opportunities for people to be on things like advisory boards or councils that are outside of things that we're funding. So they still get the benefit of hearing all of the different research that's going on, and they can share that information as well. So we try to bring as many people together as possible, at least twice a year in each of the areas that we're focused on. So it's a big task. There's a very large team that handles those types of meetings, but that is something that we're focused on. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I know. Here. You're good? Okay. Tell them a little bit about the Michael J. Fox Ambassador Program. You have ambassadors too. Are you recruiting right now?
Yeah, so we're always looking for people who are willing to help us share information. Alejandra and I are part of a team of 14 people that travel into different communities across the United States, but we need more voices. So we can't always be here, unfortunately. So folks that are interested in learning more about how to do that, we're happy to talk to you about that. There's a lot of resources on our website. There really isn't a formal sign-up process for it. So feel free to talk to one of us. We can get your information and get you some opportunities. A lot of times we also look for people to serve on things like panels or be a part of blogs, sharing your experience. Sometimes we even look for folks to help us edit some of those guides that Alejandra was talking about. So we want your perspective in everything that we're doing. So if you think that you have a great story that you want to share, or you're willing to put yourself forward in that option, we would love to have you. We need more faces and more voices.
Well, it's been awesome. It really, really has. And I want to just go on, and they'll be here even after the meeting. And so again, I hope that everybody stays to the very end of the meeting for the door prizes, but also just as a quick reminder, particularly for our new folks, we all have to pitch in and help because we have to put up the chairs and the tables. And there's plenty of the older folks here that'll be able to help you out on that. We were talking about new folks. How many new folks, just raise your hand, do we have here today that this is your very first time? All right, look at that. Like a 1, 2, 3. Well, we've got quite a few. Thank you all. And I hope that you found that this is a very positive support group and bringing fabulous speakers like this. Let's give Michael J. Fox Reps again. Thank you, thank you. For those that are new, by all means, I hope you left your email address. So I send out an email about twice a month. But that was part of the reason for the survey, was to get your comments. If you had any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to fill that out and let me know. But with that said, let me see, I've got to find my mouse. Here we go. We'll keep going. And let's see here. I'm going to do a share screen. We'll come back to where we were. There. And before I go much further along, let's see. Loading. I'll get rid of that guy. There we go. Deb, are y'all able to see it back there? Are we okay? All right, cool. We had a problem a minute ago. All righty. Anyway, a big thank you again to Danielle and Alejandra, and that was my big thank you for them. And then getting back to our GAPS mantra, it's time to exercise. And by exercising, it's lots and lots of fun. Carrie, where do you want to be? You going to be up top? Okay. Okay. And I am going to put the spotlight directly on you. Yes.
Hello. All right. Today, I'm going to give you some exercises that you can do at your kitchen table. Okay, sitting at your kitchen table. I'm Coach Carrie Brinkater. I coach fitness classes for 413 Fitness. We have a location here in Georgetown, literally just right down the road on Shell Road. We meet 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we have 3 different ability levels. Our 8 o'clock class is our high intensity class. We hit the ground running at 8 a.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have our medium intensity class at 9:15, and then we have a lower intensity class at 10:30. There's a place for everyone. We have people from there that are in their 40s all the way up to my octogenarians in their 80s. So we have a place for everyone, and it's an awesome, awesome place for community. You look around the room, you see people like you. Not only does exercise help us with our motor symptoms with Parkinson's, but exercise and being in a community also helps us with those non-motor systems. I can't tell you how many times I have had a fighter. We call everyone in our program fighters because we are fighting through Parkinson's, and we box every day in class. Okay, we're not hitting each other. We use bags, but we do boxing every day. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, man, Carrie, they walk into class, Carrie, I didn't sleep last night. I'm not having a great day. And then when they leave class, they're like, I am so glad I came. Okay, it is amazing. If you are currently one of my fighters or have ever been a fighter with 413, give me a big woohoo. That's my people right there. Okay, all right, let's get started with some exercise. All right, I want everybody to scoot toward the end of your chair with a nice tall back, and let's tap those toes on the ground. All right, tap those toes. Well, here's what I want you to tell your brain. Lift your knee, okay? That's where it comes from. I want you to see if you can just tap the toes, all right? Very good. We also start every single class with what I like to call a question of the day. All right, question of the day. So And we always go around the room and everybody answers, but we're not going to do that today. I'm just going to pose a question to you. All right. What is something that has brought you joy recently? What is something that has brought you joy recently? Maybe it was a call from your grandkids. Hey, let's switch our exercise. Let's tap those heels. Here's what I want you to do is put those heels on the floor. Try to get your toes pointing toward the ceiling and lift that knee. You'll find this one is a little bit more in the tummy, the abdominals. All right. If you would like to put your hand on the side of your chair to give you a little bit more stability, that is advisable. All right. Who would like to tell us what has brought them joy recently? Anyone? Raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. Yes, ma'am, in the back. Who are you? Donna, what's brought you joy recently? Hey, listening to our oldest granddaughter's choir concert. This is how class goes, friends. We get to know each other and we fellowship right at the beginning of class. All right, let's rest there. I'd like you to take your arms straight out front, both of them. Palms down and wiggle those fingers at me. Those are your spirit fingers. All right, good. Now turn them palms up. Y'all stay with two hands. So I'm going to go here so that people on Zoom can hear me. There are some of my fighters on Zoom. I saw them up there. All right, palms up. Now then, I would like for you, palms down, palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down. Good. Now go one up and one down. Switch, switch, switch. Wiggle them, switch, 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 switch. Good. Excellent. Very good. All right. Let's go back to the lower body. I want you to pretend like there is a bug on the ground right beside you. Okay? Right foot. I want you to take that right foot. You're going to stomp that bug right beside you. Big knee, we're going to lift that knee up and stomp it. Good. Now I want you to squish it with your toes. Good. Okay. Now then, that bug is moved in the front. We didn't get it the first time. Coming back to the front with that right leg. Let's stomp it and squish it. That's good. Very nice. All right. Left leg. That bug is over here on the left now. Stomp it and squish it. Dig those toes into the floor. Maybe something that you've noticed is your ankle mobility is not where it used to be, okay? Or maybe you can't press those toes any longer. This is something that helps. Coming back to the front, left leg up and squash it, stomp it and squash it. Good. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Now then, let's go back. Let's go to our face. Okay, our face. I want you to squish up your face really tight. Close your eyes. Good. Squish your mouth. Now open as big as you can. Mouth open. Eyes open. Excellent. Now then, add your hands. Add your hands. Open and close both fists. Good. Excellent. There you go. I like those bright smiley faces out there. Good. Okay, now then we're going to put it all together. Okay, we're all going to close our eyes. We're going to close our mouth. We're going to squish up our face and we're going to squish our fist up as strong as we can. Okay. All right. So everybody, two hands in front, eyes closed, mouth closed, fists are tight. When I say open, you're going to throw open your eyeballs, throw open your mouth, throw open your hands, and we're going to say the letter A. All right. Closed mouth, closed eyes, closed fist. Open. Good. Good job. Let me ask you a question. Be honest. How many forgot to open their eyes? Anybody? Who forgot to throw open your fists? Anybody? Okay, that's something we commonly see. We forget one of the things, okay? Let's do it again. Close your eyes, squish them up, close your mouth, squish it up. This is another thing we work on every day is voice activation. Close those fists as strong as you can. All right. When I say open, this time we're going to hold the letter E. All right, close them. Eyes are shut, mouth is shut, fists are closed. Open. E. Job. Great job. Okay, last one for today. I want you to scoot up to the edge of that seat. I want you to get a nice tall back. I want you to grab onto the chair with your left hand. Okay, left hand, you're going to grab onto that seat. Okay, your right hand is going to come straight up and over your head. Straight up. Now point it over your head and lean towards this side. Good. I want you to turn and look down for me at the floor. Look down at the floor. Did y'all hear that? Look down at the floor. Very good. Excellent. Coming back to center. Okay, we're switching sides now, grabbing onto that chair with the opposite hand. Okay, left arm comes up, straight, nice and tall, friends, nice and tall. Over your head and lean down. Looking down at the floor. Excellent. Who has a nice tall back? Aha, y'all got taller. Good. Okay, last time. Going the other way. All the way up. Point it over. Now this time, I want you to turn your head and look up at your fingers that are wiggling over your head. Very nice. How's that range of motion today? Okay. Rest, bringing it back to the center and reaching up with that opposite hand all the way up. Come on, get it up there. Point it. Good. Up at those fingers above the head. Excellent. Stretch, stretch, and rest. This is just a tiny segment of what we do in 413. I wanted to give you some things today that you can do at home every single day. These don't involve boxing, but they're very important. Stretching, mobility, flexibility, voice activation. All right. Guys, I'm Coach Carrie. If you want to come see me over at the table, I can give you a brochure. We'd love to have you in class. Thank you. Absolutely awesome. I mean, she is just so good, and it's really it's fun. So how many in here actually go to 413? Let's see your hands. Woo, look at that. Look at that. So if you don't go, it's a great opportunity, and it covers everything as part of our mantra. Education. They talk about different things in the class and as part of the Parkinson education, as well as exercise, as well as socialize. And so I really recommend and say thank you so much. Okay, so with that said, let's see here. We'll come back to our handout right there. No, this one. Okay, there we go. This is Christy Richards, by the way, the woman you see, and she is this, yeah, that's right. She is tiny, whereas Carrie is nice and tall, but she is the owner and the CEO of 413. Okay, it is time, yay. All right, so get your tickets ready. For you guys on the Zoom crowd, I know you miss out a little bit on this, but we got some great gifts here. Okay. Now, some of you might wonder, where do I get these gifts? What the deal is we're going to have a gala about 4 years ago before COVID. And these were some gifts that were collected. Well, we just don't have it together yet to do gifts or to do a gala, but I didn't want these gifts to just stay in my attic. So I have been giving them out. But if there's anyone who likes to collect door prizes and go to different things to represent gaps, let me know. I've got tax-free documentation and we can give somebody. But these are a few of the gifts that are left. Okay, what are we doing first?
Ooh, a pretty necklace. Now keep in mind, this is Mother's Day coming up, so might be a good idea. The last three numbers is 429. 429. Ooh, we got a winner. Winner. And I think this was Kat who helped me out so much just a moment ago with the computer. Thank you, Kat. She's also a jewelry maker, but now he can do some jewelry for her. There you go. Okay, here you go. This is going to be your next number, next lucky winner. What are they going to get this time? Oh, it's a sign. And the sign says, wherever you go, there you are. Okay. All righty. Here's your last three numbers. 518. Oh, we got a winner in the back. All right. There you go. Perfect. Okay. We have a lovely purse here. I don't know where they got that purse. But anyway, it's a lovely purse. Some mothers would love to have that, I'm sure. All right. Here it is. 5. Anybody in the fives? 20. 520 or 520. Is there a 520? What's happened is there's been a few people leaving. I hope the fact that they had to put up chairs didn't make them leave. But if they're not here, you got to be present to win. All righty, madam. Okay. The next three numbers are 390. Yay, we got a winner. All right, you get this lovely purse. Okay, is this our last one? This is a Baby Bliss fast heat up and recovery, flexible styling. I think it's a curling iron. Yeah. Okay. Now this is our lucky winner. Are you ready? 4. Can you believe that? 444. Woo, do we have a winner? All right. Yay. Okay. Now our vendors will still be here. So after the meeting, you can go by there and talk to them. And in the very back at our table, I picked this up, and sounds interesting to me. It's how people use religion to cope with Parkinson's. As we were just talking about research, this is another research. They're looking for volunteers, and it says basically it's going to be all just a screening survey questions. Guess what? They're paying $150 for you to participate in this. So back there in the back, I've got a whole lot of flyers. So you may want to check this out for $150. Okay, now with the next one just coming on to let you know what's up next. Okay, share screen. Our next meeting is going to be May 25th. And this meeting, we're going to have Corinne Jones. Corinne Jones is the assistant professor at of neurology for communications and University of Texas. So I encourage you to come specifically for speech as well as for swallowing issues. So y'all be sure to come to that. And volunteers, thank you so much, everybody. Well, again, we have to put up the chairs and we have to put up the tables. Oh, wait, and Anita told me to remind you. By the way, Anita, come on up here close, real quick. We have started educational luncheons, and Anita is my liaison and my lead for that. And it was advertised there would be one in May. It's now going to be in July. And yes, it's a Corda is going to be there. So I will definitely get that out in the next one, but thank you for reminding me. And we'll have Supernus in August. And you know what? These luncheons, you get a free lunch. So what? Oh, yeah. The May 12th we're not happening. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. All right. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank y'all for coming.